I am not an antique dealer. I am an appraiser only. So these events that I do at libraries and historical societies and senior communities and the home visits are all that I do. I had a house call in Randolph earlier today. I drove down from Sartell yesterday. If it's Saturday, this must be Cannon Falls. Yesterday I was in Brainerd, and so my second visit up there. And again, these programs have been just wildly popular ever since I started doing them back in 2011. But in addition to these programs, I also make house calls. And so people with big things or fragile things or a lot of things ask about the home visit option. If I'm already in town like this for a program, there is no mileage charge, just $75 for an hour. We can do an unlimited number of appraisals. So if a home visit is something you think you would benefit from or enjoy, again, you can take one of my cards. There's a stack of them there in front of the monitor. You can see my endless calendar of travels. Next weekend, Waukesha, that's suburban Milwaukee. In 2020, I will be in Red Wing twice. I'll be in Red Wing in March and also in November before Cannon Falls, before I come back to Cannon Falls. So scroll up here. March 30th, I'll be in Red Wing next year, and then again for this Red Wing area seniors on November 6th. So Cannon Falls is November 7th of next year. Former newspaper man, I worked with my good friend Jerry Olson here for many years at the Post-Bulletin in Rochester, Minnesota. But I was always involved with antiques on the side, working at auctions and antique shows, and launched these events in 2011 when my publisher, Krause Publications of Iola, Wisconsin, population 1,301, when my publisher said, "Hey Mark, thanks for everything. Good luck. Don't let that door hit you on your way out." That was January of 2011. So I needed to figure out what to do with all of the antiques related knowledge I had, and so I thought maybe a program like this that gave people information without the need for a big certified appraisal would be a popular activity, and it has proved to be so. But enough about me. The last thing I did was my publisher, of the 27 books that I already wrote, he contacted me and he said, "We want a book on downsizing." The magic words I hear on all my house calls: the kids don't want this stuff. What are we going to do with it? So, and when I say kids, I mean everyone except that young man there. I'm sure he is interested in antiques. Yeah, he's going, maybe not. So he contacted me about a house call. That's not going to happen because Krause Publications and F&W Media, their parent company, just filed for bankruptcy. And they sold off all the different parts of the company, so Krause Publications is no more. That's all right. No matter how many of these events I do, I never know how much I know until I'm presented with a question or a puzzle or a challenge. Hello again.
Hello again.
Here we go. What did you bring me this year?
I brought a couple of generations of played with military toys.
Okay.
Plastic ones.
Okay.
I have no idea if they have any value or not.
Margaret was so considerate to contact me and say, "Well, I know you don't do military items, but what about military toys?" And I said, "Absolutely. I look at military toys." So who belonged to these once upon a time?
My kids played with them.
Okay.
And now the several sets of grandchildren.
You know, and it's
played and are playing with
and,
it.
and thanks to Toy Story, the Toy Story movies, these little green soldiers have kind of had a resurgence in popularity. But you've got all kinds of great stuff. There's a guy with a bazooka, and there is a fully functional, like a miniature G.I. Joe, although I know they prefer to be called action figures rather than dolls. So anyway, this is how we usually see them in a collection like this. And when they come on the market, when they are sold even in ice cream buckets. They are sold like this. So again, the website I use more than any other in these programs to get current values is this one. It's called liveauctioneers.com. Oh, that's World War I. Yeah, that's from World War I era. So
there's different colors. Yeah,
yep.
I think those are the two colors.
Yep. So don't order these off I ordered a set of these off the back of a comic book once, and they were cheap, plastic, rotten little things. But of course, on the back of the comic book, it looks like it's as big as All Outdoors.
Oh yeah.
So they sell them like this. So when they are offered for sale today, and we look for the sold items, it looks a lot like this set right here. In fact, look at the pile. Look at them all. They look a lot like this. You not only have the soldiers, you've got vehicles, you've got tanks, you've got looks like terrain. Let's go through.
There's barbed wire in here too.
You got. I saw the barbed wire.
Yeah.
You won't. That's OSHA approved barbed wire because you can't get hurt with it. So there's figures, and see again a just a conglomeration of all kinds of different figures, and various conditions. Oh, there's the gang. This is the best website I use because you can find just about anything you need to here. Louis Marks. Well, Marks was famous for lithographed tin toys. These are plastic toys. The soldiers. The whole pile sold at auction in June of 2016 for $45. So is it your goal to sell these? No, you just want to know what they're.
I just kind of wanted to know if when the interest was over,
Troop
if I
carriers.
should try to sell them or dump them.
Yeah. There's guns here. Who made these? This was Hasbro. Okay, very very well known company. So if someone came up to you and offered you $45 for both ice buckets full of toys, that would be a fair price.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks for the call today. I appreciated that.
You're welcome.
Oh, looks like.
Now be careful.
Storybook
I've had them
dolls.
37 years and I've never taken them out. I bought them.
You've never taken them out of the box?
37 years I've had them.
37 years. So they need to get out. they need to get out and stretch their legs. So these are what we call storybook dolls. How do you come to have these?
Garage sale.
A garage sale. So you bought them at a garage sale in the box?
Just like this.
And you never took them out of the box until this very moment. Actually, I took them out of the box. So they're hard plastic, which tells me post-World War II, probably late, early to late 50s, I would say. And
I've had them for 37 years.
Well, 37. That would be late 80s. Yeah. Okay. So storybook dolls typically have sleep eyes. So when you lay them down, the eyes close. When you stand them up, they're open. But these have ethnic outfits on. So peasant dress. This one has shamrocks. So I'm guessing that's all Irish. So when you got these,
they said Norwegian.
Norwegian, that one is Norwegian, yes. Absolutely. This one looks Irish. She's got shamrocks all over her dress. So at the garage sale 37 years ago, here in town? Or where?
Remington.
Remington. Okay.
Remington.
Yep. What'd you pay for them? A buck? That, you're a woman after my own heart. If you wanted to sell these today, you could double your money.
I hope they are.
They're nice, and they've been well loved. They've had most of the value loved right out of them. But the hard plastic storybook dolls from the 1950s, are not the most popular collector category
Okay.
today. So you got a bargain, and they're still a bargain.
Okay,
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 thanks for bringing them.
thank you.
All right. And there's a shade too. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
That's what I told him when he
Oh, I'm so
tried to sell it to me.
I'm so glad. You know, well, first there's got to be a story. There's got to be a story here.
Just my daughter purchased something from a dealer, and we went to his garage, and he had a bunch of stuff. He salvaged stuff.
Yeah.
Say, he says, you interested in a lamp? And I said, not that one. Well, he says, you got to have it. I said, no, how much? He gave me a price, and I said, no. He says, how about $5? I said, well, that's over, but I says, I'll take it. Conversation piece, if nothing else.
It sure is a conversation piece. I'll have to. So did he tell you anything at all about the history of it, the age, anything like that?
No.
Anything like that?
It's,
Yeah.
It says 1971 on it.
I was gonna say late '60s. So 1971 makes perfect sense.
EF
It's
Industries.
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty ugly, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not. That's not a phrase that I use very often in my, especially when I see ugly lamps. The way I usually approach it is I say, well, this is a lamp best appreciated from a distance, and the further away you can get from it, the better that will be. Boy, you know. That green, that kind of avocado green, that was all over the 1970s. It was a time when they were throwing all kinds of design elements together. You've got the prisms, you've got the glassware, you've got this kind of, Victorian inspired base, and that shade. Just want to make sure everyone can see the shade. Holy moly! Yeah.
You almost have to have one.
You almost. The operative word there is almost. It was $5. That was $2.50 too much. Yeah. No, I mean it's just if you were doing a haunted house with a 70s motif, this is the lamp that you would want to have. Yeah.
On the internet, they've got some, but not the 1971, and all of them were amber.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any green
Interesting. No. It's to get this to be collectible, we have to give it another 100 years.
ones. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't be taking it then.
Good.
How about the crystals, the bunker?
Yeah.
Piece
Yeah.
of the
No.
crystal.
Those are all hand cut Austrian crystals.
Plastic.
Those are about. Are they plastic?
Yeah.
No, they're glass.
Are they?
Yep. Nope. They're glass. Nope. Those are 25 cents piece. Yeah. All right, and then you have a license plate.
Right, I have
Okay.
a pair of them. They've never been on a
Oh
vehicle.
my gosh! Look at that.
I
Look at that.
found them in an attic about 50 years ago, and it was in the wrapper, but the mice had eaten one half of it. So.
And you can tell that they had. I mean, so this is new old stock, is
Right.
what we call in the trade. And these are still very a pretty healthy collecting area. They are sheet steel, and they were good for 3 years: 1918, 1919, and 1920. End of World War I. There you go. So when these come on the market today, and I want to make sure everyone can see the monitor, it would be a crime if someone knocked this lamp off the table and destroyed it. So
the poor person, I'd have to clean it up.
that's true. That's true. All right, so we're going to go back to live auctioneers. Now this is Minnesota, but a lot of them look a lot alike. For instance, here is a 1918 Florida license plate. I don't know why, but when this sold in 2015, the one plate was $200. That's a lot of money for a 100-year-old license plate, 101. There's a pair of them for $45, that's probably more in line. The nice thing about live auctioneers too is that you can choose how you want to view the information. I always like to look at the newest information first. There's one 1918 Ontario, $75 Canadian. There's one for Massachusetts, $50. There's a whole. Oh, those are all Canadian. New Jersey plates. So you can see that they are still. These all sold this year. This whole set here, Dan Morphy Auctions. Oh, these are Rhode Island license plates. For some reason, Rhode Island license plates must be very, very special. Because those plates, how many were there? Large lot, 88. 88 license plates, all from Rhode Island. The whole pile sold for $1,700. That's amazing. That's amazing to me. And so yours are new old stock. Look at, here's a pair of them sold in March, 1918. Same thing, $250. Those could be $100 a piece. Makes up for the lamp, though.
Broke even.
Yeah, good, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Aha, he said. I'll take this one.
Okay.
You hold that one up so everybody can see it. Good, 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 good. Can everyone see those okay? Very nice. What do we have here? What do you know about these for sure?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
My husband's aunt was stationed in Taiwan,
Yes?
and she sent these back probably in the late 60s.
Okay.
And she seemed to think they were valuable,
Sure.
but
They are in fact Siamese, Thailand temple rubbings.
okay.
So, and you can tell that they are where they are from because of the headdress on the dancers, and usually they are female dancers. You have 3 on that one. You have a pair on this one, but they were a very popular a tourist item in the 1960s and 70s, and you can still find them over there today. So, and sometimes the images are very complex, but mostly they're just dancers. Sometimes you'll have the figures on a. There they are, and they all basically look alike because they were done. Most of them were done from the same temples.
I think I saw one that was, right at the top. That's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are. So one has the drum, one has a tabla, one has another. There we go.
Similar. Except that was colored.
Little colored,
More
a little more colored.
Yeah.
So they're beautiful and functional. But this one sold last month. In fact, a week
I
ago
won.
for $20.
My husband, before we left, he said, okay, everybody tell, what do you think? And I said $20.
Yes. So you could
They
do
were
this.
hoping.
You can do this job then. Yeah. Yeah. No. $20 is a fair auction price. You'll see them in antique shops for more than that, but that's why they're still in the antique
They're
shop.
still there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So about $20 a piece.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's what we wanted to find out.
Good deal.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Oh my.
A
Oh,
toy
my.
from when I was a kid.
Oh. Well, that is pretty sweet. But the interesting thing is on the bottom is that it was made in occupied Japan.
Yeah, that's it.
And so that makes these very easy to date. So after World War II, the Japanese occupation lasted from 1945 until the start of the Korean War in 1951. So there's a 6-year window in there where many Japanese ceramics are marked occupied Japan. So you've had this forever since the 50s,
Yeah.
probably. Okay.
Don't know where I got it. I played with it though.
And there was a time in the late 80s and early 90s when occupied Japan ceramics were incredibly collectible. There was a whole collector group that grew up around them. Now these things are coming back out on the market, and unfortunately, they are just not bringing much money. So when we see them offered for sale today, they usually are sold in multiple lots. So there are figural objects like this one, almost like dollhouse furniture, which I think this certainly qualifies for. Look at this. So you've got little miniature ewers and vases and all these other things. There it is in a box lot. So you've got little figural dogs and many pieces copied European designs. There's even a watering can right there. And the whole pile sold for $20. So an individual miniature watering can. Of course, there are people who collect just watering cans, whatever size they are. But as you can see, they usually sell them in multiples. In March, all these figurines, which are based on European designs, you've got usually courting couples and children and people in 18th century dress. They were all occupied Japan. There you go. The whole pile sold for $14. So better memories of a childhood watering can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Can not much money today.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ooh, that's cool. It's a ceramic colander made in Italy. What do you know about this for sure?
I know for sure it came from a garage sale.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, you can see it's ceramics. It was very quickly glazed. It's very clearly marked in made in Italy. Honestly, this looks like the kind of thing you could pick up at TJ Maxx.
I was going to say Walmart.
Walmart would be another guess. However, ceramic colanders go back a long way. They predate the metal ones. So, do you remember what you paid for it at the garage sale?
I think it was like $4.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's dogs. I don't know why. Oh, calendar. That's why. That's why. There we go. So now now that I spelled it correctly, or I think I spelled it correctly. Yeah, you've got a lot of ceramic pieces. Not too many colanders. It's still functional and attractive, and in excellent condition. So it's marked Vitri, Vietri. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a fairly contemporary manufacturer. But again, yeah, there's $10, I would say. Do you use it?
Really?
Or is it just for looks?
Just for looks.
Oh, you can use it, absolutely. Safely
Oh,
for
okay.
food, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. These are supposed to be glasses that they found. 62 at the Randolph dump.
Found at the Randolph dump.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a case, and there's the glasses inside. Oh, I see. Oh, no, there's multiple glasses. So there's these, which are the original granny glasses, right? I don't think it does anything for me. John Lennon could have worn those, I guess. But some of these are really, oh, look at those with adjustable side bands. Oh yeah, those are great. Now you can still take these into an optometrist, and they could put, new lenses in there, and you could be able to use those. These are marked on the side. What does it say? It says McAllister, Philadelphia. Ooh, those are some high quality. These were found in the dump. Huh. All right, and then there's another one here, also very, very lightweight. These are very old. These are early 19th century. This one could be mid 19th century. Much better condition. So the Randolph dump. All right, so I want to look up McAllister glasses, because look at how these are made. You can slide the bands out to fit any size head, I guess. All right, let's see how good Live Auctioneers is here. Oh my goodness, there's 29 listings for McAllister glasses, including this pair right here in gold. And look at the bands on the side. They're the exact same adjustable bands.
Are they gold?
No, this looks like sterling. Looks like sterling silver. This set on the screen sold for $425, but they were 14 karat gold. Marked McAllister. Okay, it didn't say Philadelphia, so let's go back here. Clearly, they were, here's a whole pile of them, assorted eyeglasses, spectacles, etc., etc. There's the glasses right there, the adjustable bands. There they are, just like these. Superior plated spectacles, etc. Oh, those are kind of scary. Anyway, the whole pile here, $1,100. Those sold in August, so that's a good recent number. What else do we have? Looks like they also made opera glasses, which makes sense, I guess. So the first one was where we got the most results. I think that these are sterling silver, although I don't see a sterling mark. What you would look for if you don't see sterling is the numbers 925, which is the sterling standard. Wow, with the case. They're not 14 karat gold, but they are by a very well-known manufacturer. I'm going to say 200 just for this pair right here, the McAllister glasses. And let's put them back in there carefully. And just a few dollars for the other ones. But that's the prize right there. Good job. Yeah. Everyone's going to run to the dump now.
Well, if we can get this out, it's been in dry dock.
I see that. We don't want to get it. We don't want to damage it on the bag. All right, so I'm going to carefully take it out. Oh, look at that! Painted tin. It's got horn pipes, and it's got a little pilot house. What do you know about this for sure?
Well, I'm just thinking it's a river steamboat.
Yeah.
Probably went down the Mississippi.
There it says Jupiter on it.
Yeah.
It's trying to look old. I don't think it is an antique. How do you come to have this?
Well, I went to an antique store.
Okay.
And it just grabbed me.
Oh, okay. Okay. it's a wonderful painted tin, a riverboat, or some kind of, it's not a paddle wheeler, which you would associate more with this part of the world, but there's a way that age sits on a piece. And I think I can look at this and I can see that doesn't have great age. Having said that, it might still be from the 1960s or 70s. What did they tell you about it when you bought it?
Nothing.
Okay.
I just like handcrafted things.
Oh, and it is. It's absolutely handmade, and it's all hand painted, and it's beautifully done. What can I ask what you paid for it? $20. Well, then they knew that it was not terribly old, but still hand painted. Oh, you could put that in water, I suppose, if it's not leaking. So there are many, many different styles of painted tin boats, and some of them have more of a military look. Some of them have more of a riverboat style, like this one. Some of them sell for a lot of money. There's one with the box. Look at the prices on some of these. $2,500, $2,200, $170. That's Bing. That was a very well-known German company. There's another painted tin one, $215. So I would say, because it's not as old as some collectors might like, I would say probably. And you can see where these masts have been removed and reattached with some kind of adhesive down there. But still, much more than you paid for it. Probably $70 or $80, I would say. That was a good investment.
Oh.
How do you have it on a little stand or something?
Yeah, my husband built a shelf with the dry dock.
Yeah.
things.
Good idea. Yeah, today we treat them as sculpture. And it's a wonderful, wonderful boat. Someone made this by hand, but it is not old, and that holds the price down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's handmade.
It's absolutely handmade.
Instead of a company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a mass-produced piece.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right. Yep. It's beautiful.
Good.
Thanks for bringing it.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
And thanks for coming to
Oh,
Canada.
you're welcome. Thank you for having me back. Oh, I love these. I love these wonderful little banks. So in the antiques trade, we call these still banks to distinguish them from the banks that have some kind of animation or motion or something. So how did you get this wonderful little still bank?
It belonged to my girlfriend, and she died, and I inherited it.
Oh well, that was a lovely
I
gift,
could never get it open because it has a combination.
right?
Well, I tried her birthday and it worked.
Oh my goodness! No surprise. Can you open it now?
I
You think?
can, but you don't want me to, do you?
No. Well, I mean, you don't have to give it away. I mean, you can.
I went to 9.
Okay. You went to 9. Okay, let me make sure I've got this. I'm pointing this thing in the right direction. Here, you try it. If you don't wish to open it
No,
up,
I don't care.
fine. Okay.
I'm going to see if it works again.
Okay.
I just tried it before I left home
Okay.
to see if it really worked because I don't know if it was hers or her mother's.
It has a patent date on it. It dates from right around 1900. It's about 120 years old.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it won't go anywhere that way.
That's
Okay.
all right. So the value includes the bank and any money inside.
Oh, it's not all opening
Yeah.
for me now, but
That's okay. That's all right. If we look at the bottom, the patent date on the bottom is 1897, which is absolutely right. Yep, 1897, August 24th. So these little still banks that look like safes were very, and they were toys. They were designed to teach children to save money.
I'm sure that's why she got it. But I have no use for it and I don't want it.
So, see, there we go. Now this is a similar design. It kind of has this Star of the North decoration on it. Stevens Treasure Safe. What does it say on the stuff? It just says safe deposit
Yeah.
on the front. There's one. See? There, that's it.
Yeah.
60. Very similar, slightly different. Slightly different design. So a lot of them,
one too.
they all look very, very similar. Treasure safe deposit box. On a good day in an antique shop, it was probably $50 plus what's ever inside.
There's nothing in
There's
there.
nothing inside. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Interesting. All right, so it's got the bottles inside. Let's take a look.
Well, not the bigger bottle.
No, there's seltzer bottles. All right. Let's turn this around so everyone can see. It does have the Coca-Cola logo on the front, and inside you have seltzer bottles. But the seltzer bottles are not marked Coca-Cola, are they? Oh, they are.
Yes, they are.
Oh, wow. Good heavens. Where did you get this?
Well, I helped dismantle the Coca-Cola plant in Duluth, and I saved that from the dumpster. So.
That was a good save. I'm sure you've had other people tell you that before me.
No,
No? Okay.
Sitting in my house for
you've never
40 years.
Okay. Okay.
this was 1970 somewhere.
You know, I see so much Coca-Cola memorabilia, but you do not see the seltzer bottles very often, and you've got a whole case of them. I wonder how many of those were thrown thrown away over the years. So when was the Duluth plant dismantled?
Middle 70s somewhere.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date.
Okay, that was a time when they were tearing down a lot of wonderful old buildings, the 1970s. So have you done any research on that?
No.
Well, I can tell you that this is still a pretty healthy collecting area. If there are colored bottles, as you can see. There are clear bottles. As with most glass things, anything that's marked Coca-Cola, I mean, they had a genius for marketing. There's one right there. Not the best picture. Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Portland, might be Portland, Maine. That one bottle sold last year, almost a year ago to the day, for $160 for one bottle. And that's an auction price. There will always be a market for good advertising. And no one understood how important advertising was more than Coca-Cola. There's 2 bottles and a gallon syrup can. All 3 of them sold for $250. Now that was going back a few years. That was about 7 years ago. $80, $90 for a single bottle. Let's look at one more page. You wouldn't think that these were Coca-Cola bottles with all the colors, but they were. $125. Let's just get the most recent information. Make sure it's the newest. There we go. These are painted bottles, but those look like reproductions. Although it doesn't say that they were reproductions. They didn't sell. There's one sold in July for $100. You have 6 of them with the case. Easily $1,000, I would say.
Okay.
Good job.
Right.
All right. Thanks for bringing them.
Good save.
Yes. Yes. And again, if you ever want to sell those, there's a very healthy market for all things associated with Coca-Cola.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
That was fun.
I got you some old greeting cards.
Okay.
These are the best ones here.
All right.
You can look, they open up.
So you've got some of these 3D. Let's see if they fold out there.
Yeah.
Look at that. You've got the cherub, and you've got the lady with a dove, with doves pulling a cart. Wow. So you've got other
Yeah,
3D.
Well, this one, I don't know if these are 3D. And I got a bunch of other
We'll set that right there. Let everybody see it.
Just this is the
Yep,
one that's
yep.
3D.
Yeah. So where did you get all these?
My husband's family, his mother saved
Okay.
a lot of things.
Okay.
These are all cards.
So this is a scrapbook full of memories. There's Christmas cards. Are there any postcards?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
All right. Mostly Christmas cards. Yep. That were sent from. The good news is that because they're in a scrapbook like this, they're still in excellent condition. The bad news is that because they're mounted in a scrapbook, they have no value other than sentimental.
okay.
Yeah. However, these we call these Dresden paper because almost all of them were printed in Germany, and they have these wonderful pierced designs. So we're looking for Dresden Valentines. Now this is a particularly elaborate one. There's a cherub, and you have one on a cart. He's actually riding a bicycle to deliver cards, and it folds down and it folds up. That one sold for $300 for one card, and that was 5 years ago. But still, this one is even more elaborate than that. I want to be very careful with it because when you unfold it, there's the base. It's kind of reinforced, so it'll stand up on its own. It is just in spectacular condition. It still has the original string. Yeah, easily just for this one card, $300, I would say, maybe a little bit more. That's more than everything else put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, they're wonderful. But the ones that are mounted in the book takes away all the value. But take very good care of this one. That's a wicked looking thing. It is. It is. Well, you could use it for that, I guess, but you would never scratch your back again. It's from the old country.
1857 or
It says 1851 on the back,
Yeah.
and of course it's a hetchel. There's about 4 different ways. It was for carding wool.
we thought of it before, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a wonderful dry red paint, and all iron. The teeth here are all iron. Where on earth did you get this?
Been in our granary on the farm for as long as I can remember.
It's beautifully done. This is all wrought iron. This is all the work of a blacksmith. And this is usually how they end up looking. This one is 170 years old. But many of them came over from Norway and from Sweden and Scandinavia.
Okay.
And there's about 4 different ways to spell hetchel. So I'm going to start with the most common one. They only spell it one way there.
Actually call them.
It's a hetchel. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm going to try one other spelling here. Take the T out. No. Try and spell. Yeah, see, they only spell it. This one, there it is, right there.
Okay.
Very, very plain. I'm open to suggestions. Is there any other? What are alternate spellings for Hetchel? Anybody? Hatchel? There we go. But that doesn't look like a Hatchel to me. Let's try. Let's just try. Just Hetchel. There we go.
Getting close, yeah.
Getting closer. All right.
Yeah, there you
So, but this one is painted. Look at this one. So they call it a flax Hetchel. There it is with the central area, and this is also dated. It looks like it's also got to be Scandinavian. This one is 1884. So that one sold for $150. That was 8 years ago. Now there's one with a nice. Now see, this one had its own box to cover up those wicked teeth.
Yeah.
They put it over the top. So you had not heard the word Hetchel before?
No, I
Okay.
I hadn't. It was for using for carding wool or
Carding, yeah, or flax. Yep, yep.
Looks like it might also go by the word hackle, Hackle.
That's a good spelling. Tell me that again, Matthew. H-A.
Hackle.
Well, now, let's see. In the antiques trade, I think Hetchel would be the more proper term, I should say. Let's go back here. Hackle, or maybe H-A-E, like C-K-E-L, something like that. Okay. At any rate, this is a fabulous dated Norwegian Hetchel from dated 1851. Retail, because of the paint, $200.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Good job. Let's take a look. It's a tiny, tiny little ashtray, I suppose. And there's a bird, and there's a little, it looks like Inuit carving, but you've had Inuit items before, haven't you?
Right, yeah.
Yes. It is ivory. It's walrus ivory. And I confess I have never seen one quite like this. So, the good news is that because of, wildlife protections, the Endangered Species Act, the Inuit are the only people who can legally create these anymore, and they still do. But I confess that out of all the Inuit ivory, walrus ivory objects I've seen, I've never seen one like this. I see a lot of cribbage boards made out of tusks, and hunters, figure of hunters with bears and seals, and but I've never seen an ashtray. How many ashtrays are in this database? Well, there are some carvings like this one here. There's another one there with a walrus. That's kind of looks like kind of a pipe holder. There's one. Now this one has a bird standing up. This one has a seal laying down. But the decoration or the style is still the same with a single bowl here and two little trays. $100 for all three of those pieces. Where did you get this?
Garage sale.
In a garage sale. Huh.
Usually I brought my Alaskan stuff up, but I didn't have any left.
Right. There's another one that was used a little bit more. See, the nicotine builds up on it just like it would on anything.
Mhm.
Interesting. 65 for the pair of those. It's a really nice example in excellent condition. I don't know what you paid for it at the garage sale, but a retail for in an antique shop today, you can't sell them at auction, but you can sell them privately. $75, I would say.
Okay.
Very well done.
And my next is, I dug this bottle in the Upper Peninsula in a garage. Garage.
Oh gosh, what a beautiful.
I think it is truly blue.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, I mean it's cobalt.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, faceted, fabulous condition. Just trying to see if there's any mark on the bottom. No, there is not. So I think it was blown into a mold, and they have this is kind of like a blob top, what they call it, an extra little piece. Oh, it's a beautiful bottle. I don't know if it was for liquor. It may be a barber bottle. It may have been used in a barber shop.
I was thinking it was liquor.
It could be liquor. Let's see.
Because they had a lot of bar bottles like that with names on them.
Yes. Yes. So faceted is the term we would use to describe that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the neck. There are apothecary bottles. There are Bristol bottles with stoppers. These are decanters. Scent bottles. Oh, there's a lot of them. Get one more.
But I thought it was a whiskey.
I'll take some whiskey. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. I think I have a feeling usually the neck on a barber bottle is a little longer because they would put tonic or witch hazel or whatever it is that they would put on your hair. It's just an absolutely gorgeous, faceted cobalt bottle, 19th century. When in the 19th century, I'm not sure. Probably mid 19th century.
The barn was built in 1930s. So
yeah. I think this is earlier than that. I mean, apothecary bottles like this with the applied labels. Let's take a look at these. Look at how these are made. These are actually the body of this one is what's faceted here. Everything else, and around the neck, it may be an apothecary bottle that was missing its label. Anyway, 50 easily, 50. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So my buddy William, who, as you may know, has been immortalized on my website. Where is he? There he is. There's the boy from our program last year. That's a great hat. Does he still wear that hat?
Every day.
Okay, good. So William wasn't able to join us today, but the old man brought this wonderful lunar module, 1969, right? You think?
Yeah, I think so. From what I found out about it, the models that have the NASA and the Grumman logo together are pre 70s.
Yeah. So we think this is Apollo 11.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Okay. So this was a kit that was made, or was it a presentation piece? It looks like it was presented.
Yeah, I think they were given to the people who worked on the mission.
Ooh,
so it was given to diplomats and the astronauts.
And how did it come Matthew's or Williams' way?
Well, I worked at Shattuck St. Mary's, which has an extensive storage of old stuff. It's a 160-year-old library. Yep. And they were just getting rid of a bunch of stuff from storage that has not been used.
That's a familiar story.
And Williams asked the librarian if he could play with it. I was like, yeah, sure. Then I grabbed a bunch of the magazines that they had there but those have to go back to the library for the
Okay.
archives.
Okay.
But just as their
Okay.
collection of space stuff.
Great,
we had
great,
earlier.
great stuff. I don't know how many Grumman-Landers there are out there, but there are a few, including this one right here, which sold in 2006. It has both the Grumman and the NASA module loader logo. Excuse me. Looks like it's in comparable
It's got a few pieces missing. I think.
condition. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. These are really fine. 13 years ago, $450. Was that sold at an auction in St. Louis? Let's go back. I have a feeling that's not the top price though. There's one 04, $1,200. There's another one 06, and there's another one for $450. So these have not come on the market much since in the last 15 years. Now let's change it from Lander.
I also have the manual that goes to the lunar module that was put out by Grumman.
Really? All right. So now these are objects that are all associated with the module, including this one that sold in 06 for $425. There's another one, $1,600. They don't use the term Lander. There's another one on a very fancy base, contractor's model, $650. There's one with both logos, $750. $1,300. That was in 2016.
Looks like
Well, let's take a look at this one. All right, so it's missing some kind of reflector dish, which I think may have been on. Yes, it was. It was right there. It was right on there. Let's go through them all. Yeah, that was 3 years ago, $1,300.
The plastic looks a little more yellowed.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it may have been in a smoking environment.
It's likely.
Yeah, there's a good comparable example. Now, is there a flag on one side? Yep, there it is. There it is. That's sold in 2013 for $550. So I would say a good comparable value would be in the $500 range.
It's a good toy.
Yes, it is. I know William will take good care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is pretty ordinary.
Well, but it's still beautiful, and you can feel that this is a wonderful molded rather than cut glass bowl. When you pick up a bowl like this and you hold it in your hands, it should almost be painful because the edges would be so sharp if it's all hand cut. In this case, you can feel how nice and soft it is. Very nice. How did you come to have this?
It was my great-grandparents.
Okay. So when it's molded and not cut, it's a category that we call EAPG, which stands for Early American Pattern Glass. And this has a spiral motif and a kind of a sawtooth pattern there. Very nice. Do you use this? Do you fruit potpourri?
I have it in my hutch.
Okay. Because it is an EAPG bowl, let's open this up again, rather than cut, there was so much of this produced in the late 19th and early 20th century that the values today are pretty soft. So if we look for an EAPG bowl, there are over 600 examples in just this database here. Even a brilliant cut pair of bowls like this one, these here. Now one is footed, one is not, one has kind of a quilted pattern. Now that's actually cut. It's not molded like this one is. Beautiful and functional, and both of them are in excellent condition. Oh, with a little bell, huh? So What do we have here? EAPG footed daisy and button bowl. That's this one on the left. Measured also Harvard and etched cornflower bowl. 6 pounds. 7 by 7 by 3.5. So a little bit smaller than this. 8 by 8. This is more, that's more the size of this one, isn't it? Yep, 8.5. So the pair of these sold at an auction in June of 2017 for $6.
Oh.
Yeah. $3 a piece. So, plus a bell. Some, or maybe they were just using the bell for a size to give you an idea of the size of them. So you don't have to keep it in the china cupboard. Put fruit in it. Put Halloween candy in it. A guy brought a bowl into one of my events once, and it was a fabulous Lalique bowl. And I said, well, do you use it? And thinking that he would say, just as you did, it stays in the china cupboard. And he said, no, I put Halloween candy in it. And I'm going, I want a trick or treat at that guy's house. So it's a beautiful bowl, about $5. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a beautiful bowl, marked on the bottom, hand painted, made in Germany. So how did you get this?
That's my great grandmother's.
Okay. So they often marked pieces like this hand painted, when in fact this design here is actually a transfer. It's laid on like a decal. But the way they could get away with hand painted is someone came by and you can just barely feel little brush strokes that they would apply little highlights to the piece, and that's how they could call it hand painted. So it's a little console bowl. It may have been part of a larger setting. I've never seen one with this kind of Pepto-Bismol colored corona around the top. That's interesting. Very well made, high fired vitreous china, meant to stand up to regular wear, but for fruit or potpourri or something, again, same way. It's a beautiful bowl, about $10. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh my. Little Town on the Prairie
And it's
by Laura Ingalls Wilder.
And it's a first edition.
And it's a first edition, but more important than that, it has the dust jacket.
Yeah.
The value of a book that originally had a dust jacket, that still has it, and one that does not, is exponential. The dust jacket adds so much more values. I think it was it this event that we did where the lady brought in a letter from Laura Ingalls Wilder. She was famous for answering personal letters in person, usually in pencil, and because she knew how devoted her followers were. This one, it says it was from for Ruth from Mother, 1941, and this was the Little Town on the Prairie, 1941 by Laura Ingalls Wilder, first edition, and it's marked 11/1, so November 1st. My goodness gracious! Where did you get this?
I bought a box of books at an auction in about 30 years ago, and I went through them finally about 25 years ago, and it was in there.
And you've read it cover to cover?
Hardly.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna tear the
No, and even a dust jacket like this that's a little tattered and a little worn still has incredible value. So we go to ABE Books, which is the website I use for looking up old books. This is also a free website. Anyone can use it. You just go there and search. You don't even have to register. You can search by author, title, keyword. They recently updated the website so that the first one at the top of the list here is the keyword. Now, ABE is a worldwide network of sellers of used, rare, and out-of-print books. Now, they're retailers, so I tend to think that their values are on the high side. What they have that I find helpful is they have really detailed condition reports. So you can compare the condition of your books with the books for sale here. So we have Little Town on the Prairie. Look at it, fills it right in. And how many copies? There's over 600. So we want to look for the highest price, which is this one right here. And there is the dust jacket. In good condition, but a little worn. You know, in this case, this has slid up over time, and so this top part is a little bit worn. But that one right there, with this exact same dust jacket, the seller is asking $2,600. Now, why are they asking so much? First edition, illustrated by Helen Sewell. Fine and lovely, very near fine dust wrapper with slight rubbing at the extremities, 2 tiny check marks on the rear panel. A much nicer than usual copy is what it says. Well, that's a little bit of marketing. $2,600. That seems like an awful lot of money. There's another one. Here's one. Little Town on the Prairie. What they do is they make beautiful mylar covers so you can protect the dust jacket. There's what it looks like without the dust jacket. Very carefully remove this. There it is. There's the cloth, the original cloth dust or book cover is in just excellent condition. Now the corner's been cut, or is it folded? No, it's been cut. So I wonder if that was discounted at some point. See that one? Let's go back there. See this. There's the angle right there where it was cut. $1941-11-1, the exact same mark on yours. And for this one, they're asking $2,000. So that was a good find.
Yes, it was.
Good job.
The box.
I wouldn't put it back in the bag if I were you.
Which,
just be very careful, because the edges of the dust jacket will get more chipped putting it in and out of the bag. Just wrap it up in some paper. Take good care of it. You know, especially in Minnesota, there's a ready market for all things Laura Ingalls Wilder.
where would you sell it?
Well, let's see if some have actually sold online through live auctioneers. Let's go back here to the beginning. We'll go to live auctioneers. There's one that sold for $200. That was a long time ago. There's one with the dust jacket that looks an awful lot like yours.
Mm-hmm.
$600. That was just 3 years ago. Who sold it? Heritage Auctions. They're in Dallas, Texas. They do a good job. They deal in a lot of pop culture. I would say either here's if they're autographed. Earlier versions, signed by Wilder. Look at the condition of that dust jacket. That's pretty ratty. PBA Galleries, they're in San Francisco. They do a good job. Or, this is something that might work well on eBay. It's small, it's easy to ship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good job.
All right. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I have a blanket, but I decided I brought it today.
No, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought this one up anyway. So what do we know about this fabulous miniature chest of drawers and chest with bookcase?
I inherited it from my mother. She referred to it as a model breakfast cabinet.
Okay.
and I didn't find any markings on it, so
Yep.
I don't really know much about it. She was
Yep.
born in 1917, and so I don't know if it was hers as a young girl or just how she came
So
to
she was thinking that it might have been like a salesman sample?
I don't know. I have seen them. I have seen similar in an antique shop that also referred to it as like a Model T cabinet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think a more proper description would be a miniature folk art cabinet.
Okay.
It's walnut. It has unfinished board back. It's done in a Victorian style, so I think it's late 19th century rather than early 20th century. I think it's at least 130 years old. The condition is excellent. It has a wonderful soft finish, and there are plenty of other examples that you can find in miniature furniture, and these were usually made by cabinet makers as toys for children or as just to demonstrate their skill in working with miniatures.
I grew up in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, and my mother's mother she lived on a farm in Germantown, but she worked for a family down on Prospect Avenue.
Okay.
When she left the farm.
Okay.
And I don't know if it might have been.
Okay. It's a very Germanic tradition. And so that makes sense. All right, so if we're looking for miniature carved walnut chests, there are many, many examples in databases like this one. And I'm just going to move this over here so that everyone, be careful, so that everyone can see the chest of drawers there. There's actually they call it a salesman sample. I don't think that's really the right term for that. But as you can see, they kind of all look very, very similar. 2 1/4 for this one. This one also sold for 2 1/4. There's one that looks like a little spice chest, also 200. And again, these are auction prices. There's fabulous carving on that one. So I want to check another search term. The nice thing is you've got the fabric on the bottom, which makes it very easy to move it around. With doors.
This little piece is broken, which I thought maybe I should get repaired.
You absolutely could. Or at least talk to a restorer about fixing it. That would be a fairly easy. I use a wonderful restorer in Rochester.
Oh.
His name is Will Peens, Piens.
Perfect.
I even have his phone number.
Excellent.
That's customer service, boy. Not only did I give you the guy's name, but I'll give you his phone number here. In fact, I have a piece in my car that I just picked up from him that he was working on for me. At any rate, it's a beautiful miniature walnut cabinet in excellent condition, even with the little lift cover on the $350 somewhere in there. Yeah,
Thank
easily.
you. Okay.
Good job.
Thanks so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for bringing it. Hello. Ooh.
I have a Wanda Gog original print signed by her.
Oh my goodness. Wanda Gog, of course, was a legendary illustrator Millions of Cats, of course. Did she also do the Monkey Tree?
Millions of Cats is the only one I know
That's the only
about,
one I know,
you know.
too. And Wanda Goggs, but she was part of a small group of successful and some of them got to be very wealthy illustrators who active in the very early 20th century. So this is actually it looks like an etching. Yeah. Cats at a window. I'm absolutely green with envy that you have this because I love Wanda Goggs' work. And you hardly ever see it. I'll let you hold it right there. So, and this was a gift to you?
This belonged to my mother-in-law, and when she passed away, my father-in-law gave it to my daughter because we all love cats, and we have cats that sit at the window like anyone who has cats and look out.
Absolutely.
So that was something she kind of liked, so he gave it to her.
And
she had it. She had this print framed in town years ago. We had a nice framer here, and Dawn did a great job. I'm sure it's all acid-free matting and.
Yep. Just for those of you who does everyone know Millions of Cats? There it is.
Yeah.
This is the story that
It's a
made
creepy story though.
it's and bloodthirsty and you know but like all great artists, Wanda Gogg had her own distinctive style that she stuck with. It was almost cartoon-like. But yes, Millions of Cats. All you need to know about Wanda Gogg's work. There's a first edition that sold for $200. There's an original drawing, perhaps, or a pastel, $6,000. So having an etching like this or lithograph that actually has cats in it is it's really cool. We're going to go through all of these because this gives me an opportunity to just enjoy Wanda Gogg's work.
Yeah.
There's a pencil sketch of a cat, $200.
The Art Institute had a show on her not that long ago, and I didn't make it to the show. But
Now here's one I have never seen. The Funny Thing.
ooh,
Look at that.
very distinctive.
The Funny Thing. Very distinctive. 1929. There's both of them, $250. So she also illustrated other people's books. There she did.
Oh, she did
Snow
the
White.
ABC Bunny. That's
Yep.
right. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got an old copy of that at home.
Cool. Aha.
Oh, there it is.
It's a woodcut.
Oh, wow.
How big is it? 2 7/8 by 3 inches. Yes, that's
I
it.
think that's it.
2 7/8 by 3 inches. $2,000.
You're kidding me.
No, $2,200 actually.
Thanks, Mary. Wow.
Even better, yours is titled
And
Cats
she
at the
signed it.
Window.
And
Yeah.
she signed
Well, this
it.
one is signed in pencil.
Okay.
There's also a W for Wanda down there in the corner.
Oh, okay.
But this one is titled in pencil in addition to be signed.
Wow.
This one isn't even titled. Sold for $2,200.
Wow.
And that was 13 years ago. Normally I would say, well, the price has gone down since then. Not for this one.
Wow.
Probably gone up.
Well, if there's a fire, I'm going to grab this one.
I would.
Go out.
I would.
Well, I have a Hall coffee pot.
Okay.
There's the cover.
Yes, it is.
That's Poppyware.
It's what?
Poppyware?
Yes. Yep. All right. Hall China. A massive. I don't think these were ever used for coffee or tea.
This one was never used.
No, and most of them.
Directions are in the bottom.
Yeah, and most of them sit on the shelf and they look beautiful, but they were not meant to be just decorative objects. They were meant to be used. So this was actually a premium that was often given away by an aluminum company. This one says Hall Superior Quality Kitchenware, but it's often associated with Jewel Tea, the Jewel Tea Company. This one does not have a Jewel Tea mark on it, but it is a Hall Poppy coffee pot. The teapot is half its size. How did you get this?
Well, my sister passed away last year, and about 30 years ago, she received a couple boxes of poppyware from my godmother, who just died last year at 100, or last week at 102.
Oh my!
And so when I cleaned out her basement, there was a bin of this, and I know there was more, but I kind of think that maybe something happened to it because she had lots of stuff down there.
And you think some of it walked off?
It could have, or
Okay.
else, maybe
We
a
don't
box
we don't
tipped
want to
over.
point any fingers.
No.
No.
But since things were stacked precariously
Sure.
all over the place, I thought, well, because I
Sure.
knew there was a set of, place settings of plates and things like that she got. My godmother was decluttering, I suppose you would
Right.
call it back then,
Right.
but she was moving to a smaller apartment. And
Well, there was orange poppy, and then there was this one, the black and white, which to me is much more attractive, much more distinctive. And it looks like it may have been used. You see the little faint scratch marks around here? It looks like it may not have been just decorative. It was probably used. And it would still make, coffee or tea poured out of this would taste extra good today.
well, it tells you what to do inside on the bottom.
There it is. For piping hot coffee, preheat with hot water. Do not place oven open flame. Okay. No, I would not put it on an open flame. The gilding on it is very good. Collectors want the gilding to be in mint condition. And there's a price tag on it. It says $68. Someone, look at that.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It's a high-fired vitreous china. It's meant to stand up to where 30 years ago, $68 would have been a bargain. Today, about half that, about $30 or $40 retail, I would say. 30 or 35 bucks. So good, great piece.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it. So I always encourage young people to try and get interested in antiques. It's a tough sell sometimes. What did you do to get William interested?
He got me interested.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And that watch started it.
Okay.
He started with the watches, then he moved on to record players.
Okay.
Hats.
Everyone, look at this one. No, I'm not going. Mass hypnotism is illegal, as everyone knows. So this is a Waltham open face pocket watch. Is it running? It is running. It's keeping good time too.
Really
so where did he get this?
We got it at an antique store in Jordan.
Wow.
They have a whole collection of pocket watches that run. The guy there
stores them. So stainless steel rather than silver plate, open face. All the major watch manufacturers would produce the works, but they would sometimes farm the cases out to other companies. So it's not unusual to see a Waltham or an Elgin or a Hampton pocket watch with a case that's marked Duber or Fahey or Keystone. So those were the case manufacturers. So we have a Waltham open face.
And they said 1936.
Yeah, okay. Stainless steel. Very Art Deco. This one right here. Let's just try. All right, so if we look for a Waltham open face, 1936, it doesn't, it's interesting that the face looks older than that. It doesn't look that Art Deco. So let's just look for a Waltham open face from 36. There we go. So these are a little bit fancier, but they do have a sweep second hand. It's interesting also, these are all Arabic numerals. These are Roman numerals. Interesting. The most recent information we have here for a comparable one is this one here. About, a little over $50 a piece. That's probably about right. 50 or I would say $50 or $60 for a Waltham open face watch, but it'll cost him probably twice that to have it worked on. So it was working when he got it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's still keeping good time. So auction 50 or 60, retail maybe 100 on a good day. Okay.
For 50.
Good.
It's good.
Thanks to William. Heavens to Betsy. What a beautiful cloisonne bowl. Decorated with looks like maybe a lotus or a bird, and on the inside, really good quality cloisonne. Where did you get this?
My daughter-in-law brought it from China.
Okay. This is high quality cloisonne work. Of course the term gets its name from the little cells, the cloison, a French term, into which these wires are laid on the surface of brass or silver or bronze, and into which is placed enamel, powdered glass, and then it's fired on, and it's just about impenetrable if it's well taken care of, although it can be damaged. This is just smooth as glass. It's very, very well done. So they usually come with their own stand. So what we have is a cloisonne shallow bowl with birds and flowers. There's one that looks an awful lot like it there. Very pretty. Let's just limit it to birds. $200 for all. Those just sold in July. So that's a good recent result. Let's take shallow off. That's a little better. And some of them have their own stand. I mean, that's again good quality. These are, on this one here, those are called prunus blossoms. These are not prunus blossoms. This is, I don't know, it almost looks like an iris, or is it a lotus? Let's try that. Let's see if we can find any. '20th century. Getting very close. Even what they call an everted rim there, that's very close. 35 pounds. So getting close to $50, that's probably about right, I would say. $50 on a beautiful carved stand.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ooh-wee.
Candy, I'm calling it candy dish.
It is.
My godmother's family gave it to me after she passed away.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful.
I suppose I've had it
yeah.
30 years or
Yeah, yeah.
that I've had it.
Yeah, marked on the inside with conjoined GW. Even though it's blue, they still call it milk glass. So what we have is a bird on a nest, but wonderful applied leaf decoration made in a mold, and then these larger leaves were applied to the outside. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, a category that has gotten so soft with time, mainly because it's just a decorative object. Now this has a little bit of slag, a little bit of lines going through there. So I don't know. I don't know if that will come up. Spell it right, Mark. So there are chocolate birds on nest. There it is. Blue slag. $15. That's just stupid cheap. You know? Why now who does it say who made it? No, I have a feeling that wasn't a very well attended auction. It should be more than that. They also call it a compote, which I don't think it's a bird on a nest. In fact, it kind of looks like a pigeon, doesn't it? Pigeon on a nest. Let's take slag off. Nope, that's something completely different. They also call it milk glass, even though it's blue. There we go. There it is. In white. 2030. Okay, now that's going back in time. So let's say it's not a hen on a nest, which would be a very specific collecting category. There it is, with 2 hand vases, and there's your bowl. There's another one, bird's nest, 80. Those were in 2017. There it is in white. Look at $5. Isn't that sad? That's just sad. In this grouping right here, which was 2016, probably about half. Say retail about 50. It's beautiful. Okay. Good job.
Okay.
Oh my, you have. Okay, it's all right. That's all right. Okay, so I heard about this a little bit earlier. This is a piece of the Titanic. And tell me about how you come to have this.
Okay, so I got this from my sister. This is a picture of my brother-in-law. He is one of the top crane operators. He was asked, when this piece was raised, he was asked to transport this across the country.
Yes.
And when this exhibit came to St. Paul, he drove it here and got it all set up, and then he grabbed me this little piece.
Did they know that he took a piece?
Yes, it's in the paper.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's in the paper. It even says, yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, we don't want to give anything away here. We don't want to get him in trouble. Okay. It's amazing that the Titanic and that tragedy still captures so much of the public's imagination to this day. And I think the main reason for that is that it was the last great human tragedy of the 20th century that wasn't photographed. When it hit, when the ship struck that iceberg, it was almost midnight. There was no one taking pictures of the event. They were trying to escape with their lives. But I think that's part of it, is because it exists only in our memories, or in our imaginations, and in the movies, of course. So I think that's why there is a continuing fascination with it. Now, fragments and objects that were used on the Titanic do come on the market from time to time. But I don't know how long it's been or how common this is. Have you done any research on it?
No.
Okay.
No, I have not.
All right. So here is one that's actually encased in lucite, and it's not very big. There it is right there. Recovered July 11th, 1991 by Mir 2. Is that associated with your uncle's work?
I don't think so. I believe this piece came up in 97.
Okay.
I believe is
all
right.
right. So this was a Russian, Canadian, and American IMAX Titanic exposition. That's probably the one that Cameron was involved with because of all the video. So that's sold encased in lucite. That's sold for $1,000. Now, is this free floating? I mean, is that encased in anything? Or
it's just sitting in there, and then we air packed it because because the air deteriorates.
Exactly. So that one sold for $1,000. That was 16 years ago. Wow, look at that. That's huge. These are big chunks of the grand staircase that must have been salvaged at some point with a acanthus leaves carving. Wow. $3,700. But they were thinking 8 to 10,000 and only sold for 3,700. That was in 2007. And there are some other pieces from the Titanic that didn't sell for very much. So I mean, I would say, 1,000. Find another one, as the auctioneers say. There aren't many of them out there. But thank you so much for bringing it. Okay,
Thanks.
you bet. And again, thank you for supporting the library, for supporting these events. We're already on the calendar for 2020. Let me just make sure I've got it down here. November 7th, we'll be back, starting at 1 o'clock. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, November 7th. November 6th of 2020, I'll be in Red Wing, my second program for the Red Wing area seniors next year. So it is a picture, it is a box with a picture of Washington on the cover. And it's tin, or is it aluminum? It is aluminum.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. So, Havana cigar. I thought that it might be a cigar box. Independente, Tampa, Florida. What a wonderful cigar box. Where did you get this?
I bought it at an antique store 47 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Because of the box? Because of Washington? Because
actually, as a young girl, I kept my stuff, believe it or not, in a cigar box.
That's straight out of To Kill a Mockingbird, right? The cigar box with all the treasures in it.
Yeah.
I have never seen an aluminum cigar box.
Oh.
So I don't know how many of these are out there. There are a few. There are aluminum cigar holders like that. What the heck is that thing? There's one made by that's artist Larry Rivers. That's something completely different. Oh, I like the frog. That's something different. I wish I could tell you more about it, but again, this is the first one I've seen. It says the image of Washington is a photomechanical print, so it's a picture of a picture, but it's clearly marked on the inside, all Havana cigar. So I think the date on it is probably first half of the 20th century. It could be. I think it's post World War II. Maybe it's even earlier. Maybe it's even earlier than that. Wow. Here's one. Here is an inlaid cigar box. Very fancy. And usually there is a lining. Originally there would have been a wooden lining to keep to keep them fresh. That one sold for $180 in 2015. Less than that today. I'm still going to say though it's a wonderful oddity. $50.
Okay.
Yes, a beautiful box. Thanks for bringing it. Okay. Yes. Look at that. That's okay. There you go. With the box. Well, if you watch the Roadshow, then it's inside the case. The top of it over. There we go. Everybody can see it. You know how much we love the boxes, even tin ones like this one. You can smell the kerosene. So, what do you use this?
I have it here.
Okay. The thing is that unless you're camping or unless there's a power outage, these just don't get used. And this one, this has mantles. The mantles are still there. Looks like it was in Good shape. How did you get this?
I just accumulated quite a few about 50 years ago.
Let's see. So there are some here that have plastic cases. There are some that have metal cases. Huh. Yeah, this is a nice one. I mean, well, I don't know why that one is so much. This is a 200A Coleman lantern with case that for some bizarre reason in January sold for $750. What model is this one here? Hold on. It says right here. This is 228. 228F. Used general Genera top. Okay. 228. Let's try that. This is a 200 that sold for all that money. There's only one that comes up in this database, and that's this one here. I'm going to say, because you have the original case and because it looks like it's probably from the 50s or 60s, the enamel is still in great condition. 125, I would say. Okay, good. Thanks for bringing it. That's where it was meant to be. Beautiful.
There we go. So it's a two-sided thing.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got birds and flowers on one side, and we've got a landscape with folks on the other side. Camphor wood. So this is a table screen. It was meant to be used on a table to separate usually men and women from one side of the table to the other. Let's turn this around because I like this backside even better. Look at that. Yeah. So how did you get this?
It actually is my brother's.
Okay.
I have no idea where he got it.
Okay. You know, a lot of them were brought back, and this looks like probably, looking at the hardware, probably, 1960s or 70s, Vietnam, perhaps.
Okay.
The condition is pretty good. There's a little bit of little nicks and dings in some old repairs. All right, now we've seen that. But camphor wood was a popular, relatively lightweight wood. This is not lightweight, however. That took carving and enamel decoration quite well. I just want to move that so that folks can see the screen. So, do you use this? Do you display?
It had hung on the wall in my parents' house for probably 20 years, something like that. And then they wanted to do something different, so he packed it up and put it in the basement, and just, that's where it stayed. He's also got a tall one and like 6 panels. It's a real huge thing.
Yeah, yeah. So there are various styles. Some of them are single panel. Some of them are folding screens like this one. This is probably pretty close with black lacquer. Bright, much. See, this one also has hardstone or sometimes jade. Very fancy. $65 for the two. There were two. There's a black cap and one that has stone. Let's just try. There we go. So usually the artisans who were creating these were following a pattern. So many of them look, the same. On one side you'll have a floral motif. On the other side you'll have a landscape. These are all table screens, so they're all about the same height and all in general about the same size. The nice thing about, we talked about this a little earlier about live auctioneers, is that you can choose how you want to look at the information. We want the newest information. There's that one again, the pair of them sold for $65. There's one for $40. There's a 2-panel screen. That was Meiji period. That's over 120 years old. Yeah, I would say because it's been damaged and repaired, less than 100, maybe 50 on a good day.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I have is a porcelain doll.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yes. Very pretty.
It was my grandmother's, so it would be pre-1910.
Mm-hmm. Kid body. So this is all, you can see the kid leather on the bisque forearms. So open mouth with 4 teeth. That's the most common. She has sleep eyes, so that when you lay her down, the eyes close. I want to see if she has anything on the back of her head and on the back of her neck. I'm just going to unbutton this. Now, this is all right because I'm a doctor. So I'm going to take this apart here. There we go. All right, so 3 snaps. There we go. That's good. Okay. So there's the shoulder plate fits down inside the kid body, kid leather. And if we try to look underneath the wig, I don't see anything there at all. Too bad, because it looks like a good German, 1890s bisque, porcelain bisque head doll that were made in huge numbers, especially by a company called Armand Marseille. So if you are ever able to get the wig off safely, look for the letters AM, which stands for Armand Marseille. They made a lot of kid body dolls. The head and face are in excellent condition. Have you ever been to the doll hospital?
No.
Okay. That's it used to be that when your doll was damaged or had been played with too hard, you could send her off to the doll hospital, and she could be repaired and cleaned and come back beautiful. Anyway, the bisque head is in excellent condition. So what we're looking for is a bisque doll, kid body. How big is she? Just looking at it. Oh, it's still also kid feet with toes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So she is about 19 inches. There's only 130 that answer that description in this database. So here's a German bisque head doll. Again, and they call it they would call this a dolly face because it doesn't have an expression on its face. When it has an expression, they call it a character doll. So this is a bisque dolly face, good shape. 13 years ago, this one right here, very similar, in an original dress, and this is a beautiful old dress, $200, about half that today. But a good unmarked German bisque head with kid body doll today in this good a condition. I would say 100, maybe a little more, maybe 110 on a good day. She's as bisque dolls go from the turn of the century, she's in wonderful condition. So thanks for bringing that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Beautiful stuff.
let you take it from there.
All right. So we've got some floral decorated pieces. There's some cups.
It's 6 place settings,
Okay.
5 piece set.
Okay. Let's see here. There we go. Gorgeous. Pembroke, Wedgwood, Corinthian. There we go. Made in England, of course. So how do you get this?
A great aunt.
Yeah.
That's hers.
And do you ever use it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Mostly people say, "Oh no, we keep it in a china cupboard and we never touch it." And it's meant to be used. But if you can't put it in the microwave and you can't put it in the dishwasher, it just does. In most of these pieces, just do not get used. So I want to look up and see. I'm going to look up and see how many other of this pattern are out there, because it's not an antique. It's a transfer decoration. The design is laid on like a decal, but it's still beautiful stuff, and it's meant to be used. All right, here are some examples of Wedgwood Pembroke in a slightly different design, but still a floral motif. Yep, Corinthian, that's what it says. That's what it said on here. Yep. Wedgwood Corinthian Pembroke. Look at that, beautiful. There it is. There's the cup. Beautiful stuff. Fracturing, fissures in the glaze. That happens when the body expands at a slightly faster rate, and it causes all that fissuring. Also, there's some chips. Any chips on these? Do you know? No? Perfect.
There's a little bit of fracturing in the glaze.
Yeah, and that's so common. That's, so common. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Last year when they tried to sell this set, 54 pieces. 2 cups have a crack, 1 cup has a chip, platter has discoloration, so that's animal fat. 1 chip missing from a saucer plate. So it has condition issues. The whole pile sold for $20. That's just pathetic. So I'm so glad that you use it. I mean, if it's in mint condition, it should be at least service for $6. Oh, it should be at least a couple hundred, but it just doesn't sell for that anymore, unfortunately. Beautiful stuff. That boy's doing a great job here. But you know that, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what all did you bring me? It looks like some kerosene lamps.
Kerosene lamp.
Okay.
This one we had it hanging on our wall.
Okay. So a cast iron mount. It goes in a little holder.
Mm-hmm.
The fount goes here, and you've also got the reflector.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the reflector. There we go. There we go. Yep. So it attaches to the back here. Very nice mercury glass in excellent condition. Have these been in the family a long time, or okay?
I don't know where they came from.
Okay.
They were in my mother's.
All major lamp manufacturers produced these. They usually date from anywhere from 1880 up to like 1910. This is the Queen Anne number 2. That refers to the burner on this piece right here. Have you ever burned them? No, that's the problem. Nobody does, unless there's a power outage. They hardly ever get burned. So what we have is an iron-mounted kerosene lamp with the reflector. There's one. 40, 70, 100, depends on how fancy they get. All of these reflectors here, 60, 70, 80. There's a pair of them that's going back a little ways. So, and I mean, this is a nice old soft gold finish. So this one is the same?
It's
No,
a
it's
different
a-
design.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
Okay. Yep. With the reflector, yeah, very nice. With the reflector, retail is probably close to 100 for this one, less than half that for this one. Although this is an Eagle burner, very nice. So they both have wicks rather than mantles. Yeah, maybe 20 for this one, but almost 100 for the other one. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, what else? Oh, let's put it right there. This is a beautiful little child pressed back rocker. Usually a straight grain oak or ash. They put this in a form and using steam and great pressure, they bend those arms into place. And the same here. They put them in a mold to press the design. What do you know about this for sure?
Well, my mother said she had it when she was like 2.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
that would have been 19 teens.
Yeah, and that's about right. Today, they mostly are used for dolls or teddy bears and for display. They don't bring a whole lot of money. So if we look for a child's pressed back rocker. There they are. And a lot of them, again, have these bent wood arms. There's 130. Nice spindles, spindle back. There's one. They just do not bring much money today because there usually aren't little people around to sit in them and use them. Nice old original finish. Don't refinish it. And I don't say that because it would hurt the value. It's just that this looks like it was stained with an aniline dye. And if you tried to take it off, it would turn a kind of a bright, sickly red color. So just leave it just the way it is. Retail is about $40 or $50. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, it's from my wife.
Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, more Dickens. Good
Something
heavens.
I picked up in an antique shop when I was a late teenager, and it's 1880.
Yeah. So Dickens was still alive then, I believe, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I don't know. So this is Charles Dickens' works. Wonderful gilt cover.
Not in great shape.
No, it's been well loved.
I never read it.
It's been so it was loved by someone other than you.
Yes.
Okay. So there's someone's book plate.
That's my plate. When I
Oh,
was
that's
a
your book plate.
teenager, I
Oh,
put plates in my books, yeah.
good. All right. I just want to see if there is a frontispiece decoration. There's the master right there. The Works of Charles Dickens, Volume 1. Oliver Twist, David Copperfield, Our Mutual Friend. Our Mutual Friend is my favorite. Great Expectations, Little Dorrit, and Martin Chuzzlewit. So 1880, Collier's Unabridged Edition. So we have to go back to ABE for this one. I think that this has been pretty well loved. Where are we? There we go. So it was 1880, and it was volume 1. And it has a gilt decoration on the cover. And that's about all we need, I think. There are 76 copies. So in two works, in 2 volumes, the other has Dombey and Son. Interesting. All right, so there's a very, very high class copy of A Christmas Carol, only $30,000, and it could be yours. Okay, so let's see here. Works illustrated, 1880. Dark brown crushed Morocco. Now this is cloth. Marbled boards. The boards were not marbled, were they? No, they are not. Library edition, 5,000. So see, we're just, there's got to be a way to narrow this down. Let's go back here. Volume 1. That's more manageable. In 3 volumes, 1880, hardcover, brown boards, gilt titles, decorated with Dickens characters. Yes, because that's probably Macabre. There he is in the middle. Little Dorrit. So that's the one they're describing here. All edges gilded. Once upon a time, yeah, they are. They're still gilded. Boards have small tears. Edges are rough, soiled. Some hinges are weak. Early pages of volume 3 to the contents page are loose but present. They're still asking $25 per volume. They've got this one plus the other 2. Yeah, then we're getting up into the rarefied air. I would say in this well-loved condition, $25. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Do
you.
you have time for one more book?
Well, maybe.
Maybe. So this is one of 25. So there's a
Okay.
25, Mark Twain.
Oh, sure. Sure. So oftentimes this one, yeah, this was 1893. This was still during, this is Pudd'nhead Wilson, which is Pudd'nhead Wilson is not one of Twain's works that gets much attention today. It was just not as popular as, Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer and some of his other amazing works. This is Harper Brothers, but published during his lifetime. Yeah, on here it says Olivia Clemens. There we go. Yeah, because it's a reprint, and it's considerable sun fading, but a beautiful book. $5. Yeah.
And would the other ones have similar value, or would they have?
If they have the similar sun fading, yeah, no. It's only because it's Pudd'nhead Wilson, which was not a popular Twain book.
We do have all 25.
Wow. And you can use ABE to find them all. Yeah.
It's a site, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a free website, right.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ooh,
It's chipped.
it is chipped, but that's okay. We can still talk about it. Oh, that is a big chip. Look at that one there. So what do you know about this?
It was my mother's, and she got it from her mother or grandmother. I don't know.
It's a vase, but it's a special kind. I think it's called a celery vase.
Okay.
Sometimes celery vases were footed up on a little pedestal. I think it's too tall to have been a spooner that you would keep spoons in for stirring coffee. But I think it's quite old. It's also got a big chip on the bottom.
On the
too.
bottom.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
really.
So if we look,
It's just so pretty.
it is pretty, and it's a category that we call EAPG, which stands for Early American Pattern Glass. So if we look for an EAPG celery vase, they're usually tall like this, but sometimes, see, like this one.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. They're often on a pedestal. Sometimes they have short little feet. Here is the biggest pile of EAPG celery vases you will probably ever see.
Wow.
And they're all about this. They're all about 7 inches tall. And that one is just 6. So we have 9 of them there. and all 9 of them sold for $80, so not even $10 each.
Yeah.
If it was perfect, $10 because of the damage, sentimental value only.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Oofda. So it is a footed tray with big, beautiful roses, silver plate. This should be marked somewhere.
I couldn't find a mark.
Oh, I don't see one. I don't see one. So what we have is a footed silver plate tray with a rose motif. It's got paw feet. Where did you get this?
My husband was helping someone clean out a house and they were going to throw it away, and he thought I would like it.
Well, and did you like it?
I do like
it. Well, I like it too. I think it's well made. It's 19th century. It's frustrating that it doesn't have a maker's mark that we can see readily. But there's 2 schools of thought about silver plate: is to leave it like this or to polish it up.
I like it that way.
I like it too. I like the soft silver. But many people like it shiny. And if you do want to shine it, you absolutely can. You don't have to worry about that. But it is, make sure you use a fine cream. If you use an abrasive polish, the silver on here it's just microns thin. And if you use an abrasive polish, it'll take the silver right off. So use a fine cream. So what we have is a silver plate, paw feet, roses. There's only one. And it's actually like a chafing dish. It's a pivoting chafing dish. Let's take off the paw feet. Just say footed. That's more like it. So we have many trays. We have many trays with handles, but not too many with bail handles, which is what the top piece is there. Now see, if at first I thought, when you were bringing it up, I thought that this was the base of a bride's basket, in which would sit a piece of glassware like this, and because that's what the handle on a bride's basket looks like. But it's not, because clearly this was meant to be seen, not covered up with some other glassware. No, let's go one more page. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's 19th century. It's got those big blown out roses in the bottom, and you can see the way it was made. This is called repoussé. So they work it from the back, so the design comes out on the top. Really good quality. It's frustrating. I wish I could tell you who made it. But, oh wait, there it is. Manufactured Reed and Barton. That's a good name. So it's a Reed and Barton silver plate, bail handled tray. Very good quality. $75. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ooh-wee. So there we have. There's General Lee on one side, and there's Ulysses S. Grant on the other side. It says, "The veterans of '62 united in defense of the flag." And so this was a lithograph commemorating the veterans of the Civil War. What do you know about this?
Not a lot. It belonged to my husband's grandfather, and I always admired it.
Okay. Have a seat. I want to make sure everyone can see it. It's in wonderful condition, but let's talk a little bit about the condition. First, it's in a beautiful oak frame, but it has this is the original mat, which is acidic. that you can see the edge of it is turning brown, and that means that it is not archival. It will tone and weaken and eventually discolor and destroy the lithograph. And I don't know what the backing is here. It looks like it's been replaced. It looks like there may be some kind of composition material there. But I have a feeling that this may have been something that was used by veterans organizations, particularly the GAR, which was the Grand Army of the Republic, which was the Union soldiers' veterans organization. And otherwise, the condition is great. Veterans of '62 with Lee and Grant. I don't know how many more there would be out there. Yeah, I've never seen this one. But that's okay. That's why we're learning. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. That's spelled right. And there are lots of similar style images. But not this particular one. I mean, this is Lee and Grant at Appomattox. This is a similar size, but from 1872. This one was later. I think it may be probably early 20th century. Overall, the condition is excellent. That one sold for $650. I don't think that's quite the same value, but $300 to $400, I would say. Definitely worth taking it to a framer and getting a fresh matte cut for it and putting some foam core on the back too. Civil War collectors would love it. I think $300 to $400 is conservative. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm afraid to even take her out of the box. So all handmade. It feels like wax. Wax doll. Oh, she's pretty sweet. Again, open mouth with 4 teeth is the most common. She's been well loved. I hate to just say sentimental value on her because she's made out of what we call composition, which is sawdust and bones and ground up, all kinds of different stuff, and glue. Very sweet. Sentimental value. Okay. All right. Is it the box or is it
it's
the?
Not the box.
Okay.
So, my parents got them at an auction.
Okay.
It's the fire stuff.
Okay.
And, they have some markings. on
Right.
them.
Right. Do you know what they are?
No.
Okay. Oh my goodness. They're called Netsuke. Okay? That's spelled Netsuke. The U is silent. So Netsuke. They are all carved wood, and a Japanese man wears a bag around his shoulders, and he has a cord. The bag hangs on a cord. And the Netsuke were used, the cord goes through these holes here on the bottom. That's called the himotoshi. So depending on you lengthen or shorten the cord on the using the Netsuke, and depending on how it was carried. This one with a hand holding a horse. Look at that. The quality of the carving on most of these is just absolutely superb. And they're all wood, which is a good thing, because if they were ivory, you couldn't sell them. Because they're wood, you can absolutely sell them. They are just exquisite. Do you like them?
Well, I haven't really seen them.
Maybe you will after we see what they're worth. I like this one. It's a mouse next to a piece of cheese. It's hard to tell how old they are because the artisans who created these, the newer ones sometimes can be of more value because the tools that they used to make them were better tools. So if we're looking for a Netsky of a mouse with cheese. Now these are both ivory. That one sold for $200. Just one single tiny little mice with cheese. Let's change this to a Netsky of a mouse, and it's wood. There we go. So you can see on the monitor here. Here's one of a mouse on a dust broom. Not a very good picture there. Kind of a short field of focus. But you can see the colors are the same. That one Netsky sold for $100. This one of a mouse, 19th century, all curled up in a ball. Also signed. That one sold for $400 for one. Let's see, we have another one here. A rabbit in a basket. Look at this gang. These might be rosewood Netsky. Now here you've got, that's like a Fulian. It's also called a Kai Lin. You've got a water buffalo. There's a skull. These are foo dogs. These are all carved out of rosewood, which kind of looks like what these are. That whole pile sold for $250. But I want to try this. I want to look for one of a horse. These are horses. There's a horse on a turtle. Set of 12 Japanese wooden Netsky. So it's not unusual to come in a grouping like this, but they're all horses. I don't think they're nearly as nice as yours. Do you know what your folks paid for them when they bought them? $5. They're really, really good quality. So I mean, look at this. This is, look at the fingernails on the horse. Hundreds of dollars. I can't tell you exactly how many hundreds, but thanks for bringing them. That was the perfect way to wrap up the program. Thanks, everybody. Hope you had fun. Thank you. Thank you. November 7th, 2020. We'll be back again.